Hello, everyone. This is Thomas Baker here with the Gamehouse Esports League of Legends edition. Here to interview Cody Sun. You all should probably be familiar with this guy. AD carry for Immortals in the North American LCS. How you doing today, Cody?
Good, good.
Good. Nice.
Yeah.
So before I ask you anything like too formal, I'm just curious, kind of like, what's the day-to-day life like these days? There's no competitions coming up in the near
hmm
future. Kind of like, what's life? How's life treating you?
Um, yeah, I just came back from like China from visiting some family members and just trying to deal with the jet lag, trying to fix my sleep schedule.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I called up some like friends from elementary school or even high school, and then we hang out a bit, and it's pretty cool to just chill with my friends.
Yeah. Absolutely.
hmm
Um, are you playing League at all? I think I saw like on my Facebook maybe you were streaming one day, but how much of that is going on?
Yeah, or ever since I came back, I've been playing a bit. I think the like first day I played like 15 games or something because
Yeah.
I literally haven't played for like the last 10 days.
Wow. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, when I came back, I played a lot, and then yeah, now I'm playing probably like 10 games a day or maybe a bit less, but yeah, it's been going well.
Yeah. Awesome. So still consistently playing. Um, Well, kind of going back a few weeks ago, obviously you were at the World Championships. That's probably what's on everybody's mind and what everyone most recently has seen from you. You guys were in Group B with Longzhu Gaming, Fnatic, and Gigabyte Marines, knocked out in group stage. I'm
hmm
curious, going into the World Championships, what were kind of you guys' expectations, or if you don't want to put words in other people's mouths, what was like your expectations or hopes, or what were you kind of going into the championship, feelings, thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, after the group draw, we were all in Korea boot camping, obviously, and after the group draw, we were very confident, like as a whole, as a team, and we were very confident that we were gonna make it out of our group.
Hmm.
Mostly because we saw Fnatic play in group stages, and we didn't think too much or too highly of Gigabyte Marines at the time. So we thought that even if we couldn't beat Longzhu, we could easily make it out with the second seed. And yeah, I guess you know the way Gigabyte Marine played, it kind of upset us a bit, where we honestly didn't expect them to just cheese every
Yeah,
time that they could and just pull out these crazy picks and these crazy strategies. So
yeah.
yeah, it kind of caught us off guard, but we were very confident going into our group.
Going in, you were pretty confident. Yeah. Um, so when you actually are going there, I feel like as a spectator, people from the outside looking in, we only get to see the 30 or so minutes that you guys are on stage actually performing. But I'm kind of interested, what's the process like, or how do you think it influenced from going from California to Korea to China, scrimming in a different environment with different teams than you're used to? The whole getting used to the lag and that kind of thing. How much of that, like, just is there anything that you think that maybe fans miss in that process that could have affected your chances in the group stage? Like, do you think the travel affected it? Do you think that that whole different environment than you're maybe not used to affected it? Like, how does that go when you're going international and that kind of thing?
Well, I think when you're traveling, obviously the first, um, I would say like first 3 days is you're battling jet lag and you're trying to get used to the environment and everything. And but I feel like that isn't really too much of an excuse because pretty much every team is on the same page, and
Yeah,
everyone's traveling, so everyone has to deal with the same issues, I guess, except the Chinese teams. But um, yeah, I think going into our group group matches. Scrims has just been really difficult for us, and I think mostly because, at Worlds or even in Korea, like all the teams that we play against are, all the best teams from their respective regions. So everyone's bringing their A game in scrims, and yeah, we all learned a lot, but it's definitely like a super stressful environment to be in. And I think everyone was we were pretty tired and pretty stressed out from practice, but we all pulled it together and we tried our best to perform on stage.
Yeah. Do you think that so of course there's this time between group draw and actually being on stage when it counts, that you guys are traveling, scrimming, kind of getting more of a feel for these teams rather than just being from a different region. Maybe you have watched some of their VODs, maybe you haven't. Like, for example, Gigabyte Marines in particular, you mentioned you were pretty confident going into it, and then as you get on stage with them, it's like a total curveball. Do you think you guys didn't see any of that in scrims? Like, is that something that maybe they weren't showing these strategies?
Yeah, I mean, we'd never played Gigabyte Marines once, and I think, yeah, I mean, we just didn't play Fnatic, or we just didn't play like our opponents in our group, and I think that's just pretty, that's pretty standard stuff. But
Okay.
Gigabyte Marines especially, it's like, they didn't play standard at all, and
Yeah.
pretty much in best of ones, they're able to pull off these crazy strategies.
Mm-hmm.
And these strategies are it's like like you use it once and then you have to use something new if you want to cheese again.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you just keep using the same cheese, then we're just gonna know the second game and we're just gonna not get cheesed. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's really no way of us preparing against them, except watching their games against other people. So like, for example, we saw that they used Galio and they lane swapped Tristana, and then so we obviously we can ban the Galio and then prevent that sort of cheese from happening.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, they had other strategies, especially with the Urgot pick. No, like, I mean, there's just no way of us ever expecting them to pick Urgot like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So
that really caught us off guard.
So yeah, that's something as a viewer that I wouldn't really have known, right? So you're saying it's completely normal for teams within the same group in the group stage to not play against each other in scrims, or see each other's strategies at all going into it.
Yeah, I mean, they wouldn't know what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously we don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, because there's so many teams from other groups, right, that you can just scrim. So there's not really it's not really necessary to play against the teams in your group.
Right. Gotcha. So I'm assuming, was Immortals, like, as a team, after you guys played on that last day, did you guys feel, obviously you probably felt disappointed, I imagine anybody would in that position, but what was that environment like beyond just kind of disappointment? Like, especially, was there any distinction between like veterans versus some of the younger players? Do you think that there was any what was that environment even like, coming out of that?
I mean, I think for our team, especially on the last day, pretty much no one gave up hope that we were gonna make it out. I think after we lost the first game of the second week, I forgot who it was against. But I mean, I remember that no one gave up that we were gonna make it out, and we just took each game one at a time, and yeah, it was just unfortunate that we lost all four, but
yeah, absolutely.
I think everyone definitely we all tried our hardest, and we all just tried our best to try to win.
Do you think pretty much the entire team would echo that? Do you think that they would say the same thing? You know, we tried our best, and you know, at the end of the day, that's all you can really do, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think our um even though we were on a downward streak towards the end, I think everyone's still stuck with each other, and yeah, we played like a team, and I think in the end we lost as a team.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. Well, obviously, shifting back towards more you specifically, this was kind of a breakout year for you, right? Going all the way from IEM Gyeonggi all the way to North American LCS Finals, all the way to Worlds on the other side of the world. What is that? Do you feel like that's kind of contrasting to how the team kind of fell off there at the end? I mean, I feel like you, even though you know it kind of fell a little bit short there at the end, you're kind of on this upward swing. Would you say that? Like, how do you feel like your year was personally as a young AD carry kind of rising star? You're all LCS pro at the end there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this year has been overall a pretty successful year for myself, and I think for Immortals as well, because we were at like 7th place in spring, and then we managed to get 2nd place in playoffs and make it to Worlds. Obviously, that doesn't mean that we couldn't have done much better than what we did, but yeah, overall for me, it's been an okay year. It's been pretty great for myself, and I learned so much during this year, and not only in terms of gameplay or even shot calling or communication, but even as a person, I developed really close relationships with my teammates, especially like Ole, and I learned a lot from everyone, and yeah, I also grew as a person.
That's awesome.
Split.
Yeah.
The next year, I just want to incorporate everything that I learned this year and incorporate into whichever team that I managed to get on, and just keep going from there.
Yeah. I was going to ask about that. So, obviously, anyone who's on Reddit or Twitter or anything at this point should have seen Jacob Wolf's ESPN report regarding the leaked franchise accepted teams, and obviously one of the more controversial ones was the announcement that Immortals was not accepted. Of course, that hasn't been, it's not an official thing. Riot hasn't said anything. Immortals, I think, as an organization, hasn't really said anything. Is there anything that you know beyond that you think people need to know about that situation, or how's that look for you? Like, how's that going to impact you?
In terms of like, what is going on, I really can't say, and I really don't have much to say either. Like, I don't have any, special information or anything.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, everyone just found out from the article, and obviously it's not official yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, really, I don't have anything. I don't have anything to say about that.
Yeah.
But in terms of hypothetically, like how it could affect everyone, I think it pretty much just means that the team will disband, and everyone will go on their separate paths. And I think even if we all stuck together, I think there might have been potential changes anyways, mostly because Flame and Ole's contract was only for a year, and it ends after the summer split. So yeah, I think even if we did stay together, it would have been Xmithy, Pobalter, and I, and there might have been changes anyways.
Yeah, there might have. Awesome. Well, I'll ask one last thing. Sort of, what's it like having a coach like Ssong. You know, I feel like he was one of the big changes to the Immortals roster that went a little bit, you know, I think a lot of people get caught up in the players and the imports and, you know, who's pairing AD carry support and that kind of thing. But I feel like the coaches are kind of the person behind the scenes pulling strings, and can really have songs seem to have a huge impact on your team. And, you know, other players I think have kind of echoed that statement. What was it like for you as sort of like a younger player who maybe has less experience with other coaches and that kind of thing? What would you say that experience was like working with Ssong in particular, and you know, being from another region and that kind of thing? What was that experience like?
Yeah, honestly, you know, when I worked with other coaches in the past, and pretty much all of them were from NA, maybe, you know, from one's time from EU.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this was a Korean coach. You know, he was a former pro player himself, and Ole mentioned to me, you know, even before Ssong came in, when it was just a rumor that Ssong played against Faker, the best, you know, player of all time, and he even solo killed him,
Yeah.
or something like that. And so yeah, Ssong has the reputation, he has the history. He was with Rocks, and they made it to Worlds. And one of the things when he came into the team was that he has always made it to Worlds every single year, when he was a player or when he was a coach. So, you know, that's a pretty good reputation. So, I mean, we all jokingly said that, well, if he's gonna make it to Worlds every time, then we're guaranteed Worlds.
Yeah.
You know, even before the summer split started, you
Yeah.
know, we all said that, and I think, I mean, towards the end of the split, everyone believed that was the case. But yeah, with him, he just works super hard, and he works harder than, you know, any coach that I've ever been with in the past. And I would say, you know, his work ethic might even, you know, be better than the players on the team. You know, he actually watches more VODs and even plays solo queue more than some of us.
Wow.
And yeah, it's pretty insane, right? So, but basically, you know, due to his reputation and, you know, his work ethic, everyone on the team had full respect for his coaching. So in review, our team would actually be pretty efficient with our reviews, especially compared to other NA teams where they would take maybe 20-30 minutes after a game to review a game. We would take probably, on average, would be like 10 to 15 minutes, and we would just be really, you know, fast with our review, because Ssong would just point out everything, and then everyone would agree, and we wouldn't really talk back to him or anything like that. And, you know, so we could like have a 5-minute break, you know, in between our practice games. And I think it's also because, due to his like reputation and, you know, how he's from Korea, he's a former LCK OGN player. Even Stunt, when he joined the team, and I asked him about Korean coaches, because he had a Korean coach in P1, right?
Mm-hmm.
I asked him, you know, what's the difference between a Korean coach and an NA coach? He basically told me that, you know, with Korean coaches, you just can't talk back to them at all. So you have to listen to them 100% of the time, and you have to just take in whatever they have to say to you, whether he's pointing out a mistake or anything like that. Just don't talk back to him, and everything will be fine. And yeah, as a rookie, I really don't have anything to say to, you know, a coach like Ssong or even, you know, my teammates. They're all veterans, so yeah, any criticism that they have, I'll just try to work on it, and I just try to, you know, work on myself and take in whatever they have.
So you feel like he, you know, do you think that Immortals would have qualified and made it to Worlds without him as a coach?
I think it would be very difficult for us if we didn't have Ssong. I think he fixed our macro to a point where we were able to compete with the best teams in NA in terms of macro. Obviously, when we go to Worlds, right, our macro is just average.
Yeah.
But in NA, I think our macro as a team is probably as good as TSM when we played against them in the finals, and yeah, that's all attributed to Ssong, because I mean we pretty much only worked on macro in Summer Split. We didn't really work on anything else.
Gotcha. All right. Well, is there anything else that you want to say to your fans, to your teammates? Just any last words here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just super grateful for this opportunity, for, joining Immortals, and I'll never forget this experience, this 1 year that I spent with my teammates and with the coaching staff and everyone on the team and on the org. And I think I made some really close relationships with my teammates, and it's really nice to, connect with people and learn and work and grow alongside them. And yeah, I think honestly everyone had a pretty great time on our team. Even when things were a bit tough, even in the Summer Split when we didn't have great days of practice, or tempers were flaring up in our scrims, I think at the end of the day, no one took that personally. And in LCS days, we were always able to show up and play when it mattered. So,
awesome.
Yeah, I'm just very grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I mean, from my perspective, I think you're going to have tons of opportunities. I feel like this is kind of just the start for you, and wish you the best of luck, obviously, in next season and in the off season. And I think that there are a lot of North American fans who are looking forward to seeing you back on the Rift. So I really appreciate this.
Yeah, thank you for the interview.